Welcome and thank you for joining me today. We are back on SMB, on the SMB2 server specifically, on top of the villager trading hall that we built in the last episode. And in this episode, what we're going to do is build a mob farm, and we're going to put it centered right about there. My original plan was going to be to have it way out here. Where is that island? Yeah, over top of this island, but there's a ocean monument really close by, so I don't want to deal with that. And besides that, there are two other reasons. Easily funneling the items from this spot over to this spot, because that's a short enough distance, it's doable. And also keeping it close by so that it's also, when I AFK for that, I am getting iron from my future iron farm, which is going to be another early project that I get to because my iron supplies are very, very low and, well, they're almost out, basically. Yeah. I made a redstone supply box and I stocked it, and the hoppers ate through my supply of iron. And I had to go branch mining to get more redstone so I could get all these other supplies built up as well. And obviously I don't have everything completely stocked up. It's as stocked basically as I can get it in general, but yeah. I'm going to actually set up, I'm trying to decide if I want to set up a kind of base of operations for building over here, or if I want to have these on me. I'm using stone slabs to build with as well. Actually, I should probably use stone blocks for where it doesn't need to be slabs. Well, where stone blocks would be the better thing. Actually, yeah, stone blocks is going to be made out of stone because, quite frankly, I've got a lot of that, and I have a ton of stone slabs already crafted. So, we're just going to fly up here. I'm going to head over and grab some stone because, yeah, I didn't think about it, and I'm going to need quite a bit of that, and I'll almost certainly need to come up here for more stone slabs as well because there's no way I've got enough. Well, that fills that out nicely. All right. Oh yeah, I do have that sign because I tore down the sign from where I was going to build it originally, since obviously, I'm not. I love that I have done that. It just makes getting out of there so much faster and easier. I could almost tear these down, but not everyone's going to have an elytra, and I'm not always going to have an elytra. I'll need a way to get up there just in case. So, yeah, kind of have to leave it like that. Now then, redstone supply box. So, let's drop that there. That there, and then we have stone slabs. Plenty of stone slabs. We also have plenty of stone. So I need to go out, get the center point, and like start scaffolding and building to get things going. And well, I might have to deal with drown a little bit in the early construction. I might not. Hard to say. Who knows if they are going to spawn? I wouldn't be surprised, but let's see. Center point. Yeah, I like this as a center point. And then we come out of the water here. Okay, so I need to build this going up to a height that's going to work for the landing pad. And before you ask, the landing pad's not going to be down at flush with water level because it's going to be easier to pipe things into the storage system from a bit higher up. And so that's what I'm going to plan for is the piping. So the items are going to get pushed into these hoppers, get pushed into these droppers, and then when there's an item in there, these will trigger, and they'll trigger long enough to make sure it empties and not get stuck. And then we have this setup down here so that the items can basically get this will trigger across there into upwards facing pistons. Can we see them right there? Can I go out one more? Yes. Upwards facing pistons right there that are going to trigger the dropper there, which is going to spit the items into the water stream and flow them along. For example, we'll just put 16 stone in there. So the delay timing does make sure that this doesn't get stuck down here with items still in there. Well, let's actually just test it with this one. So we'll put another 16 items in. It still does that. It works out best, apparently, if it's on 3. I think, at least that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, all the items get spat into this item stream and they'll flow along. So it's the quickest way to empty it, and I'm doing rows and rows of these because, quite frankly, with the expected item drops coming from this, we need rows and rows. So I can actually completely cover this up now. Hop up here. So that is 3, 4, 7. So we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to bring all of these all the way back here. And this is the full landing pad. Now, granted, it's probably a bit bigger than it needs to be, but for any potential drift, I want to make sure I'm covered. And yeah, that didn't quite use a stack of hoppers. Close, but I'd say that this system will work nicely. I definitely don't have enough slabs on me to completely slab this off. But this is what's going to be basically the landing platform. It's a block that will allow the hoppers to still suck up items, but it will avoid any potential complications of mob spawns, which shouldn't happen anyway, of mobs somehow not dying from landing, which shouldn't happen anyway. Yeah, I'm just covering my bases on that. Also, definitely need another stack of these for this. In fact, I need to learn to fly better too. I keep overshooting my mark. So this is the landing platform. Nothing is spawnable up here. The one spot that something is spawnable, where I have this torch, is actually not going to be spawnable long term. It's just there until I am ready to actually put a slab here on the, well, basically right here, and that's where you can keep the spawning from happening on top of this also. But for now, I want to make sure I can still get any items that might accidentally fall into the system. And I have to walk back this way to get the jump boost effect so I can get back up top. Minor inconvenience, but at the same time, major convenience. Now the center of this should be right here, which is where I'm going to build the next set of scaffolding up, because I need to go up and start building out the platforms. Yeah, I am definitely going to be far enough away that I will not cover those beacon beams up. Alright, so let me get up there and start building out the platforms that are going to funnel everything onto the killing chamber. So this is the height that the mobs will drop from. So this has got to go up more still for the spawning platforms. And the thing is, yeah, I always forget something when I do these things. In this case, it's the trapdoors. And what these are for, quite simply, a way to allow the mobs, or, well, the water to not flow where I don't want it to flow and allow the mobs, thus, just pass right through and drop through what this will be an opening. For now, it's covered up. So I've got the first layer of stone done, and my thinking is, while water can flow 8 blocks, it becomes less effective at pushing mobs with the more recent updates to water mechanics after what I believe is about 5 blocks. So I've got to make sure that... there's that dolphin again, or another one, I'm not sure. Got to make sure that this entire platform is designed in such a way that water flows 5 blocks and then pushes mobs off the edge. And now it's going to be a little different for the spawning platforms above because obviously the water's going to go to the edge, but I have a plan for that as well that should keep mobs from gathering at the very edge and allow them to fall because the water keeps pushing them further than they can just stand on the edge and wait it out. We'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, I kind of need to figure out how big to make this platform so that mobs that spawn will then be able to get washed to the middle, fall, die. And let's see. Yeah, this is where I need all the blocks for, because this is going to be made out of blocks. So I'm going to get this platform made out, and then we actually have a little bit of testing to do to make sure that things are going to work the way they should. But we'll get to the testing when that comes up. For now, we do still need to build this out and build at least the first spawning platform. So without building any platforms, I figured out about what to do for the size of the bowl here. And yeah, that's what I'm going to call this thing. It's got a hole in the bottom, but still kind of bowl-shaped. These are going to be the center points of each of the spawning platforms. They will spread out, I believe it's 7 blocks, because the water flow 8, including the source, which should put it to here and to here, and straight along this diagonal. Gives a few blocks of a gap for mobs to fall on this side. Everything gets swept down to the middle. And then you might be wondering why I've got these stairs raised up here. Well, quite simply, and that's not really going to do much of anything. Some of these are going to be dud stairs. I wonder if I can fill the whole thing in with just a single bucket. Yeah, it's worth a try. As long as you don't stop flying, you can fly right on out of water. It's very difficult to fly out of water any other way. Ooh, nice. And so now I've got an infinite source. You know, it's going to flow awkwardly around these, but for now, that's okay. Because for now, in fact, since I know it's going to flow awkwardly around it, I should be safe to put torches to keep mobs from spawning in the spots that aren't lit. But otherwise, I can just go around and take care of the water, fill this thing in. So I'm going to do that. And I'm probably going to go ahead and open up the middle. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably a good idea that I do that, I think. Then again, I just have to fly 96 blocks away and mobs will instantly despawn. Yeah, that's the setting that it's set to. Right. I get jump boost over on this side. I'm going to go get some more buckets because I do have them in one of these shulker boxes down here. And let's go ahead and yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to need a lot of buckets for this, I just realized. I haven't crafted a single one. So this is 2 adjacent farms that need a ton of buckets to operate. That's just lovely. Well, in any case, I will take care of those buckets, even if I have to go raid some more iron from spawn. I will be getting my own iron farm going soon enough anyway as well. Wonder if I could just... Yeah, that works. I just have to do it on these diagonals here and it fills in, so that'll save me a little bit of time. Huh. I'm going to get this done, and then we've got some experimenting to do. I'm going to build the very first platform to do proper experimenting, and then the AFK spot, and experiment with nighttime because I want to make sure I don't need to go up or down with my AFK spot, as well as figure out the maximum height that I can do this, still get mobs to spawn, and then I can build the roof, get that figured out. Okay, so the first test is, do mobs spawn at this distance up? Yes, they do. No surprise there. I'm not getting very many mob spawns. Am I centered properly? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I am definitely starting to get mob spawns now. So, confirmed, they will spawn at this height. Now, what I do not know, because they have no reason to wander anywhere, I don't know if they'll fall and die, or if this is kind of the extent of it. Also, that platform is strangely empty. I'm guessing the mobs will spawn and despawn because they're at the range which they can do both. Now, the next step will be to build this up and find out how high up they can spawn. And what I'm kind of thinking with this is we do these tests at night before I put the roof on so I can figure things out for certain. But the biggest challenge will be getting them. Yeah, that Enderman is not going to be a normal spawn for this thing. The biggest challenge will be getting them to kind of fall down here and see, do they die? I collect stuff. So I need to set that up. I need to basically go sleep, make it day, set something up for, oh, I guess occasionally a mob will drop down, so I just need to get rid of the scaffolding. Very specifically, I need to sleep and do another test the following day. So I'm going to do that. See if we can... Yeah, they might be nudging each other off. So I'm going to see if we can kind of get the results of if this down here will work, and if it will. My only other required test will be how high up can they spawn. Okay, so the sun is setting. It is finally turning night again. Literally all I did was clear that stuff out. Sleep it today, clear that stuff out, and wait for it to be night. Because I need to find out the mob spawning. So once the mobs start spawning, and then hopefully some of them get pushed off, I need to make sure that they hit and die and don't instant despawn. And this is actually not going to be as brightly lit as it appears because that torch will be gone In fact, it's going to be super dark under here. I might consider putting sea pickles out and about down here, just so that the ocean isn't so dark. But, yeah, we started getting mob spawns. Now I just have to wait and see if they wander or get pushed off the edge, and then see if they land and go splat. But considering this is the only place they can spawn. Oh, that's a mob that just wandered off the edge. It's a creeper. It'll be falling any second now. Here we go. It did fall, splat, and presumably, it might not have dropped anything this time. I wonder how effective this would be. Well, it wouldn't be very effective because there's nothing to push them off, and that was just pure chance. I do want to make sure, though, that when they do get pushed over the edge or walk over the edge and fall and die, that they're actually dying and dropping something and not despawning at point of death. So I need to make sure all that's good. In fact, I'm almost certain that I need to lower this platform a few blocks, because I measured from the center 96 blocks, not from the edge, because that would make a slight difference. Huh. Well, lowering this a few blocks won't be too terrible. It'll be annoying, but it's doable. Alright, spider. Let's see, it'll fall. Oh no, it did work. Also, if you notice in the ocean, mobs are popping in and out of existence really fast. That's because they are, I guess, within spawning range, but instant despawning too. I might consider, even though so far it seems to be good, I might seriously consider just making this a few blocks lower, just to make sure. I just wish more mobs would wander off the edge so I could test. Items. Yeah, I got a little bit of string. Alright, so I'm definitely going to build the platforms up some. And, well, my mob spawning rates will probably drop a little bit. So let's see. So obviously none of them are wandering off. Okay, yeah, so definitely the thing that needs to happen is I need to actually get this thing fully up and running, but I don't want to build the roof and the spawning platform only to have wasted platforms because I have to lower it. That's the tricky part. I don't know what to do. Oh. I've got to figure that one out. But I will have that figured out and the platforms built up for the next clip, where we figure out how high they can go and still spawn mobs. And here we go, with it completely built, signs in place. The scaffolding is there because I still have to put the water in. That's the last thing I'm going to do. And I did move a couple of these up here because the next thing I'm going to do is the redstone, of which I'm using all but 2 of my repeaters. And I'm doing that so that I have 2 for my shulker box. Yeah, this is going to use a lot. This I'm going to need to craft up more repeaters. But in the meantime, the very least, this indicates that all of this is working. This is basically the clock to turn everything, to run everything, and we're going to do that. And just throw one of those there, because I'm going to use this method to turn it off. Basically flood all the platforms so that mobs aren't spawning when I don't want them to be. And then one single lever right in the middle to power everything, which would mean I basically need to send the platforms out along these points. And this can mirror easily, so I'm going to keep it mirrored. And I'm going to go ahead and finish building this, especially since, I'm going to finish building it off camera, especially since I need to craft up quite a few more repeaters. This is extremely frustrating because I thought I calculated correctly. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I calculated 75% correctly. I realize exactly what error I did. So I'll need 26 more repeaters. So I will craft those up, build the circuits out, and get the water buckets in, bust out the scaffolding, fill in the holes, and then we get to watch this thing in action. Okay, so I've got the water in, and all the redstone done, and all the scaffolding removed, and I don't have the pipe for the storage done. So I'm going to have to do that before we can actually run it. Because you don't want to run a farm like this without having a place for the items to go. Otherwise they will just sit around and take up space. But what we can do is turn on all of them. And I am really tempted to make this a separate kind of line that leads to another lever that will trigger just these kinds of so that I can turn the whole thing off in one go and then activate it in one go, which would actually come from the same lever basically, except not quite. Huh. Yeah, it's a little tricky how this would work. So for the moment, we're just going to flip all of these levers. And what we should have is all the torches breaking, all the water getting distributed, and we can fly down and see every platform covered in water. And completely pitch dark now. Whoa. Yeah, I suppose in the very brief moment of no torch, that a mob could easily have spawned in there. Huh, did not even think of that. But I do need to pick up my torches, which are in the ocean. Yeah, for some reason, instead of going into the contraption, they came into the ocean. And they came down pretty far, too. There's a torch. And... oh, looks like we do have an item, or a few items sitting here. Ah, gunpowder. Ugh. Gunpowder is expected from that creeper that we saw. Oh boy, that's dark. So yeah, the next step is to actually build out this thing and bring it over here into at least a temporary storage system. And I kind of want to build it out in the piping network method So I'm going to get that together, build that out. What is that in the water? Oh, it's a squid. So I'm going to build that out into a few chests that the items can just flow directly into. Wow. This thing is going to be crazy good. Well, that took a little bit of time, but we've got the pipe in, funneling to where the building is eventually going to end up. But also, we've got the basics for the sorting storage in, because quite frankly, you have to be able to sort this stuff out. And I'm very curious if my method of getting items through that many just using water streams is going to work, or if I need to go back and add another water stream to it. I I guess for this I'll find out eventually, but I think that this is going to work. And now the next step of this whole process is to actually turn the farm on and check out how it does. Of course, to do that, I also need to now switch over to my camera account so that I can actually see what's going on with the farm and all of the things. So I'm going to do that real quick. Turn the farm on, go up there AFK, and we'll watch the magic. And here we go. The farm is running. Though I'm wondering if I've got the delay on the repeaters off. It is still running really, really rapidly. My thinking is I've got them going way too fast, but at the same time, it's a shower of mobs. And what I'm very curious about, yeah, everything is starting to steadily fill up. Ah, I've got it. Everything is coming in to the point where it's just flowing along the backside, which means I'll end up with some items eventually that don't land where they're supposed to. Which means I need to fix where they're kind of coming in and impacting. And I think I've got an idea for how to do that. Wow. You can see the pistons firing from here. The mob's just pouring in. And I only filtered this thing with one item in each of these, and we've already got some stuff filtering into the chests. Wow. This thing is insane. I can't do night vision, so I can't actually kind of showcase the best of it. I have the signs there so that nothing gets caught on the edge, hopefully. That might still happen, but I think it'll be less likely. I might need to tweak the timings of that, because it seems to be going a little too fast. Yeah, I'm going to double check the timings on that, and I'm going to make sure that the items that are flowing in here are actually going to flow in here in a way that they don't just get stuck. Yeah, because I haven't had a witch drop yet, but that is one of the things that could come through here, and then because it's not just going to keep flowing, because this isn't working quite the way I was expecting. Yeah, I'll have to troubleshoot this and fix it. Of course, feather falling mobs will survive, so we've got a skeleton here who has feather falling, who has survived, but he's also near the edge of the instant despawn range, so he's going to despawn quickly. Yeah. Wow. Feather falling is quite common. Yep, he walked off the edge and poof, gone. Oh, but otherwise, this is amazing. And I'm the only one on, so yeah, this is totally running like crazy. I'm actually going to shut it off, figure out the timings, figure that out, and I'll have everything sorted by the next episode. But for now, thank you for watching, and God bless.